My name is Eric Wexler, and I am 36 years old.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to undergraduate degree in Gainesville, Florida, at University of Florida. I received my medical degree at University of Miami, and I continued my training in internal medicine and nephrology at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles.
When did you open your own practice?
I was in a group for 1 year, and I realized quickly that the status quo in medicine was very dissatisfying for me. We went to 12 different hospitals and 15 different dialysis units. So after a year of working in that environment, I chose to go off on my own, and I started my solo practice in Newport Beach approximately 5 years ago.
What's your patient load at this time?
The average number of patients I see per day ranges from about 15 to 20 patients, usually split between my office, hospital, and dialysis units.
What's your opinion of the dialysis units that your patients are attending?
To be very honest, I actually, one of the things that almost made me feel burnt out in nephrology was the distress I felt when I went to dialysis units. I actually felt overwhelmed when I spent 50% of my day in dialysis units. It was very depressing for me, and if it was depressing for me and I was only spending a few minutes there, obviously, I felt that the patients were having a very difficult experience. It feels like it's been taken over by corporations, and it feels a little bit like a mill where patients are just being moved in and out. There's definitely not the sense that that patients are having the best experience they possibly can have there. And there's a variety of reasons for that.
So with the units that you've been in, you see margins for improvement?
No question.
In reading through and helping produce the First Learn Balance business plan, do you see that as a great aid to the individual patient?
So the first question that comes up when you, as a young nephrologist, talk to some of these large corporate dialysis companies is the response that you can't come up with something that gives patients a new or better service than they currently have because there's not enough money in the system. What was very interesting is when I started learning a little bit more about the business side is that there is no question that there is room in the business side to give a patient a better experience. And there are so many variables that I saw in the First Learn Balance business plan that were very exciting to me. In addition to some of the most basic things, including a better chair, more room, better TV, encouraged interaction. I loved the interactive approach that included some complementary complementary medicine approaches as well, including acupuncture, massage therapy, and I also love the fact that patients would feel like it's part of their family and they would have an area to lounge in if they felt ill and they weren't ready to leave. I also appreciate the fact that there would be more patient education and they can learn about cooking and foods. Overall, there's no question that First Learn Balance has the idea to provide patients with a much superior experience than they currently have on dialysis today.
Now, part of the problem that us as patients have is controlling our water, controlling all the fluids, whether it be within food or a drink. I understand that you've developed the Pocket Dietitian, which will help go ahead and regulate that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you put together for that?
Sure. I would say 50% of my day when I'm speaking with patients, diet always comes up. And the most frustrating thing about diet for kidney patients and dialysis patients is that it's not just one diet. They're usually on a diabetic diet, they're on a diet for blood pressure, cholesterol, they're fluid restricted. There's at least anywhere from 5 to 10 different nutritional variables that they're trying to restrict on any day. One of the things that I've encouraged patients to do with their diet is if they can be disciplined, they can reward themselves with foods that have been previously labeled as dangerous or completely restricted. So I created a mobile application called Pocket Dietitian, which essentially replicates a visit with a dietitian, summarizes the dietary recommendations, and allows the patient to learn in real time how each food item is going to impact their daily nutrients. And it even offers recommendations to the patients when they're feeling frustrated that they don't have any more available foods to eat.
That's terrific. I'm looking forward to using it myself. The last thing I'd like to talk about, and it's been controversy within the medical community on the 5,000-year-old medical practices that we'd like to implement with the dialysis patient. I know that you've talked to a few of the patients that we put through the clinical trials with Dr. Ram, and would you tell us, for instance, about Alex Harrison that was just in here and told you about her experience?
Sure. So there's no question in my mind that we are going through a change in the United States with regards to how we practice medicine. We've been trained in this extremely traditional Western medicine, which has so many wonderful achievements over the last 100 years. I think that we're realizing through good scientific evidence that there are alternative areas in medicine, and particularly Eastern medicine, that can provide benefit in so many different ways to our patients. One of my patients, Alex, who's been off and on dialysis since she was very young, under 10 years old, has recently been experiencing a lot of wonderful benefits to Ayurveda and massage that she didn't even necessarily believe. She feels more calm, her blood pressure has been more stable, her overall mood has improved. We're even looking into how it may affect blood pressure and those sort of things as well. The thing that I always want to reiterate is a lot of times when you speak to traditional Western medical doctors, they'll say that particular intervention doesn't work. And what they're really saying is there hasn't been a large scientific study in that particular area. And we can hypothesize the reasons why there hasn't been studies yet. There's no question that the pharmaceutical industry has led a lot of the studies, and there's just not a lot of money for the pharmacy companies to provide scientific studies in these areas. But I think we will see over the next 1 to 2 decades, as more scientific evidence comes out, that there is going to be an enormous amount of benefit of all of these different types of Eastern medicine that we're just learning at this time.
You think First Learn Balance would most likely be able to help change perhaps the large corporations that are running dialysis patients through the system now? Do you believe that our program could go ahead and help that be changed worldwide?
There's no question. Right now, there's been somewhat of a dominance of some major corporations in dialysis, and they've created a business model that maximizes profit. They're on Wall Street. There's large investments from billion-dollar companies. There's no question in my mind that if a unit came in a particular area that provided superior quality of service and a quality experience, that they would start to see patients leaving their units to this more superior unit, and there's no question in my mind that it would change the way they approach if they wanted to remain a viable and profitable company.
Why don't you start off by telling us your name?
Alexandra Harrison.
And how long have you been on dialysis?
For this round, it'll be almost 9 years. I was diagnosed with Vater syndrome before I was born, which involves multicystic kidney disease. So I only had a portion of a kidney that actually functioned when I was born, and it lasted till I was 8 years old when I went on dialysis the first time at UCSD Medical Center. And so I was on dialysis then till I was 11, which is when I had my first transplant. And then it failed when I was 18. And I went back on dialysis, and that brings me to where we are today.
You've read about First Learn Balance. You've kind of been a part of the program, helped developing this. Is this program something you would come to do your dialysis on?
Absolutely. If I could do it today, I would.
My name is Raquel Lina Pucho.
How long have you been on dialysis?
Since age 21, I'm 45 right now.
I've told you about First Learn Balance a little bit. Is
Yes.
that a unit or exercises that you'd be interested in joining up with?
Well, like I say, it's a dream come true. I'll be first on the line to join, and yes.
Well,
My name's Max Grondin. I've been on dialysis for about 2.5 years. I got on dialysis because of cancer of one of the kidneys, and a lot of high-intense medication that screwed him up.
When you were inducted into the dialysis program, what kind of educational process did they give you to let you know on how to take care of yourself and what was about to happen to you?
None.
Not even a little half an hour dissertation?
None. Zero.
You got the present unit that you're in. Are you happy with the service that you're getting there?
In the 2.5 years, it started off with great service. It is slowly but surely deteriorating, where the incompetent are far beginning to outnumber the competent.
You've read a little bit about the First Learn Balance program that we put together with Dr. Wexler. Is that something you'd be interested in coming and receiving your
If it
treatment,
was within reasonably close to get there, absolutely.
Yeah.
My name is Barry Simpson. I'm a dialysis patient for 5 years.
Mr. Simpson, why are you on dialysis?
Well, my kidneys gave out. I had some kind of toxic shock.
If we had massage for you, full body massage, Ayurveda, we're providing yoga class for those that can do it, and then meditation for those that are not ambulatory, along with acupuncture. I'm trying to bring the Eastern medicine in to help. It has helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 5 other patients in clinical trials. We're bringing that together with trying to have a more friendly atmosphere in which the techs can be close to us and the nurses can be close to us. And we're not going to hire techs that just came out of school. If they don't have at least 3 years experience, I don't want them sticking needles in my arm.
No.
Because that's our lifeline.
Yeah.
So if we could provide something like that for you, is that something you'd be interested in, coming over and seeing our facility?
Absolutely.
There, absolutely.
I'll be first on the line to join, and yes.
Well, is this program something you would come to do your dialysis in?
Absolutely. If I could do
Absolutely.
it today, I would.
Well, super. I thank you for your time, and hopefully we can bring a new type of dialysis to our community to make us all feel a little bit more healthy. Thanks, Alex.
You're welcome.